that's going to set it back in the distance in a moment when you watch what we'll do in this sort of mid-ground area here. But just use the rest of that paint, just create a dark section right underneath that tree line there. Bring it right up, there we go. Okay. So, now that we've done that, let me just clean off this brush again. More of this. This is the cleaner that we use. This is Art Spectrum Odorless Solvent. Fantastic stuff to use. The fact that it's odorless is obviously very important. And I'll just fill up my little brush cleaner here. And give that a good scrub. Get all that excess paint off it there. And once you've given it a good scrub, we just wipe it off, any excess paint off with the rag there. Just make sure it's nice and clean. So, what we're going to do now is we're just going to bring in some of this foreground, or this midground really, grasses and fields. Remember, we're going to have a little cabin there, big tree up in here. So I just need to bring in this section here. So we're going to do this right in the middle here. We're going to do a nice sort of very bright colour to grab your attention and draw the eye in. What I'm going to use for that is this colour here. This is Australian Red Gold. It's fantastic for creating sort of Australian outback type settings. So we'll use some of that. And we'll mix up quite a bit of the white with it. So grab a big chunk of the white, put that on the palette down the bottom there. Okay. Grab the Australian Gold and mix that in. You can see what a nice colour that creates right there. A bit more of the titanium white. It's probably still way too bright, so a big chunk of the titanium white, and there you go. You see that colour that we've now created. So I'm just going to paint that into this section in the middle here. It's still too bright, so I'm just going to grab some more titanium white, mix that over the top. Okay. That's really going to drag the eye into the middle when you see the darks that we'll put on soon, so might as well just bring that all the way across there. Okay, so this just creates like a wheat field or any other sort of field where the farmer might be growing crops and things. And then around that we want to put some greens, so we'll take the ultramarine blue and cad yellow, make up some nice greens to go around that. So I'll just paint those in all around here. Don't be afraid to blend them in. We just want to keep this centre piece here quite bright. But we can put a couple of little strokes in there like that. Okay, so we've got some nice bright colours. You can see now the importance of that dark section that we created underneath the tree line. Okay, so go for some even brighter, maybe a drop of white, even brighter greens now as we come in here. This is also a warmer sort of green. We're using a cadmium yellow for that. Bring that in. Now I could be using a bigger brush for this, it would speed the whole process up, but use what you've got in your hand sometimes. Okay, and bring that right down to the bottom there. Okay, so I'm not happy with the way this is all looking, so I'll just drag some of this golden area here around a bit, just blend it in a bit. Okay, it's looking a bit better. Notice how your eye is drawn to that now, especially with these darker corners in the top here. It draws your eye in, the way the mountains all sort of angle in to bring your eye into the centre there. So the next thing, logical thing we want to do then is just darken up the corners in the bottom here. So we'll go for a darker green colour in there, that's the way. Paint that right up into the corners, along the bottom, not too high up on the bottom, and then up in the other corner. And what that'll do is, again, it'll drag your eye into that centre part of the painting there, like so. Okay. Probably needs to even be darker in that corner. I'll just go for the straight ultramarine blue there. because it's already got green on there, it's going to turn to green anyway. Okay, and we can come back in and darken those as we progress with the painting. So what we've done basically there is we've really put together, just blend in a couple of spots there. Really what we've done is put together the scene that we're creating for this, the setting for this painting. Next thing is to do the scene, and the scene is what is the focus of the painting, and it's going to be the little house there and you know, the path leading up to the house and so on. Okay, so to kick things off, I've just put some more paints here on the palette. Let me just make sure you can see that. Just reloaded with some more ultramarine blue and some alizarin crimson. I've put in some burnt sienna and some burnt umber for our dark, so this is going to be important for the cottage and also for the trees and so on. A little bit of the lamp black there, so we really want to work on our darks with the trees as we develop those. We've still got our yellow ochre and the Australian red gold, which I think is a great little colour for, you know, the background setting and so on. And then once we've done this scene aspect of it and we come into the final stages of doing the sizzle, you know, those little highlights and so on, I'll then use more of the greens as we put the highlights on the trees and so on. So let's start out. I'm using just a flat brush, smaller one, I think it's a size 4. I'm going to use that to just block in the basic shape of where the cottage is going to go. So it's going to go somewhere around about in here. So well, first of all, what I'll do is I'll just mix up a dark. I'll use some of the burnt sienna. I'll just mix it over here on the palette. The burnt umber, a little bit of the ultramarine blue, mix that in. If we add in a bit of alizarin crimson, that'll make it go to the darker side again. And I'll just take a touch of the lamp black there. So I've just got a really dark colour mixed up there, and I'm just going to use this little brush just to block in the basic shape. So I think where we want it is around about here. So we want to keep it on that sort of 1/3 plane. If you know anything about composition, you want to put all of your you know, the centres of influence on that sort of 1/3 and 1/3 plane. So I'm just going to put the roof around about here. Okay, so always that first stroke is the nervous one. So this is going to be the top of the roof line, and we'll just angle it down on this side here like that. So pretty simple shape, and again, this is an introductory video that we're creating here for you, so we're doing some pretty basic shapes. So just bringing in the other side of the roof there, and if I extend that down just a touch. Okay. The drawings don't need to be that accurate at this stage. I'm just getting the basic outline of the roof line here that you typically find in a little cottage. Okay, and then we just drop the walls down like so, and then put in the floor. Okay, so you can see it's starting to take shape in the, you know, the setting that we've got there, and put that back wall in like so. Okay, now at this stage we need to make some decisions as to which direction is the light going to be coming from. And I think in this example we might have the light coming from out here coming in. So that means that this side and the front of this little cottage is going to be in light, and this wall here is going to be in dark, and the shadows would cast back that way. Okay. The reason why I'm doing it that way is because I've got this little band of light already through the mid-ground here, so I don't want to lose that. And it'd be nice to have the front of the cottage in light, and that way we put this big tree up here as well. If the light's coming in this direction, the shadows will fall on this side of the tree, which means the light on the leaves will be on this side, leading your eye back into the picture. Right, so that's really important. So what we'll do is we'll just pick up a bit more of that colour there, and we'll just block in the roof line here. Okay. Now, notice I've left a gap to the side here. You never want to put it right on the edge, because we'll probably put a tree in there just as a bit of, you know, background, just to break it up. So just block it in. Okay. Again, don't need to be too perfect with the drawing at all, because we can pretty much correct any of the mistakes as we go here. So how are we looking? That's pretty well all you need at this stage. Bring that side down a little bit there. Okay, now the roof, I like a nice bright roof because I've got most of the colours in the back are fairly misty and hazy, so I'd like to introduce a nice bright colour for the roof so that it